You're watching TimesXP. I'm Dhritiyatri, and here are the biggest stories that are making headlines across the globe today. So let's start with it. Houthi drones threaten Eilat, while tensions rise in Israel's southern city of Eilat as 4 Houthi drones were intercepted in just 1 hour. All drones were shot down by the Israeli Air Force. No injuries were reported. In fact, sirens reminded residents of the ongoing threats from Iran-backed Houthis. The attacks highlight Houthis' expanding reach amid Gaza conflict tensions. Houthi drone timing here. First drone triggered alert at 2:36 pm. Two more at 2:58 pm. Fourth intercepted silently. In fact, Israeli officials say that these attacks show the growing boldness of the Houthis. Their actions support Hamas 2 years after the October 7th attacks. Israel remains on high alert, showcasing its advanced air defense capabilities. Houthis' growing threat. Well, Houthis' slogan, "Death to America, death to Israel," reflects the ongoing hostility. They have targeted Israel and maritime traffic since late 2023. In fact, the attacks intensified after Gaza war and ceasefire in January 2025. Since March, they launched 91 missiles and 45 drones, and that too only against Israel. Israel strikes back. Israel retaliated 19 times, hitting Houthi positions 1,800 kilometers away in Yemen. Eilat installed 10 mobile bomb shelters after recent drone attacks. In fact, Israel shows readiness to protect the civilians and critical infrastructure as well. Conflict expansion turns Red Sea region into high alert zone. United States arms Pakistan, while the US adds Pakistan to its $2.5 billion missile contract with Raytheon. In the meantime, Pakistan will receive advanced AIM-120 Amran air-to-air missile. Now, this particular deal includes allies like Japan, Australia, Saudi Arabia, Germany, and the UK. This strengthens Pakistan's F-16 fleet and signals renewed United States-Pakistan ties. Strategic implication for Pakistan right now: Amran C-8 missiles compatible with F-16 upgrades, enhancing air combat capabilities, while Pakistan strengthens position against the regional rivals. Specifically, here we are talking about India. In the meantime, US aims to counter China's influence while modernizing Pakistan's air forces. Experts say that it marks a significant shift in South Asia's military balance. Trump deploys troops to Chicago. Over 500 national troops. They were sent to Chicago amid the immigration crackdown. In fact, troops stationed at Elwood Army Reserve Base for at least 60 days. Deployment sparks outrage from local officials, calling it a military occupation. Now, Trump supporters argue that it is a very important step to restore law and order. Wider national security. Well, Chicago's deployment is part of a national plan targeting sanctuary cities. Now, similar operations may extend to New York, Los Angeles, and Phoenix. Now, here's the goal. The goal is to back up the ICE officers facing resistance from the local authorities. Cities becomes ground zero in Trump's immigration enforcement strategy. Erdogan contacts Hamas. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan reaches out to Hamas units holding Israeli hostages. Now, this particular move coincides with Trump's 20-point Gaza peace plan negotiations. Now, here aim is to facilitate hostage prisoner exchange and possible long-term ceasefire. Now, Turkey positioned itself as a mediator amid the escalating regional tensions. Hamas hostage reports here. Hamas reportedly collecting remains of deceased Israeli hostages could indicate early step towards a humanitarian exchange. This deal would require Hamas to partially cooperate without full disarmament. Now, adds complexity to the US-led peace efforts in Gaza. Trump's Gaza peace plan here. Well, Trump's team working in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt for peace talks right now. Negotiations involved hostage exchanges and disarmament discussions as well. In the meantime, Israeli Prime Minister Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu demands Hamas to give up their control over Gaza completely. This plan aims to reshape regional dynamics and the US influence in the peace process. H-1B visa lawsuit. Well, Trump's plan to raise H-1B visa fee to $100,000 challenged in California court. Tech companies and healthcare unions claim that the move is illegal. Only Congress has the authority to set visa fees, not the executives. So here's the potential impact. Global talent could be shut out, harming the US firms. Visa fee controversy. Well, critics call the $100,000 H-1B a wealth wall, and that too against the middle-class professionals. Be it Indian engineers or doctors, well, they would be the most affected here. Now, startups and small businesses face a heavy risk of relocating overseas. Now, this case could set precedent limiting executive power over immigration. Iran buys Su-35 jets. Leaked Russian documents reveal that Iran's $6.5 billion deal for the 48th Su-35 fighter jets. This particular deal could shift Middle East air power, alarming Israel and the US officials. Su-35 jets feature advanced radar, stealth, and electronic warfare system as well. In fact, the first batch is expected by 2026 and full delivery by 2028. Regional air power shift here. Su-35 jets could defend Iranian nuclear sites and escort drones as well. Israel's air superiority is going to be challenged by Russia-Iran military partnership here. In fact, this particular deal strengthens anti-Western bloc across Asia and the Middle East as well. Now, count China and North Korea. They all are contributing to Iran's military upgrades. Israel's damage control here. Israel warns Washington about potential regional destabilization. Possible strikes considered if jets are deployed. In fact, Israeli officials fear that arms race could escalate tensions with their neighbors. Monitoring of Russian and Iranian military move is intensifying. Afghanistan rejects foreign troops here. Well, Taliban's foreign minister warns the US against returning troops. Statement made at summit in Moscow emphasizing Afghan sovereignty. Well, Bagram Air Base, he said it's off limit. Foreign presence is seen as occupation over there, signals Afghanistan's closer ties to Russia, China and regional powers. Afghanistan's geopolitical shift. Taliban seeks international recognition but rejects any foreign military control. Moscow summit shows alignment with non-Western powers. Any US interference could be treated as a hostile act. Now here Trump faces potential diplomatic challenge if considering Bagram reactivation. Bondi Hirono Senate clash. Pam Bondi and Senator Mazie Hirono engage in a fiery hearing on DOJ corruption. Now allegation included favoritism and the January 6th case as well. Shouting matches. Now here, shouting match highlighted deep political divides in America right now. In fact, social media clips of clash went viral, trending online. DOJ under scrutiny. Well, both parties accuse DOJ of political bias. Here, Republicans claim protection of Democrats and Democrats allege GOP influence. In the meantime, Bondi defends Trump's ally, emphasizing accountability over revenge. Now here, hearing underscores public perception of justice being politicizing right now. Netanyahu calls Putin. Yes, that's right. Israeli Prime Minister urges Russia not to arm Iran with Su-35 jets. Warns the deal crosses a red line and threatens Israel's security here. Israel hints at possible increased support to Ukraine if the deal proceeds. Reflects delicate Israel-Russia relationship amid the Middle East crisis. Iran-Russia arms deal stakes. Su-35 deal could give Iran long-range air dominance. Israel fears protection of Iranian targets and oil shipments as well. In the meantime, US warns of sanction violation and escalation risk. Now here, the world is threatened with Moscow-Tehran military cooperation. Iran threatens US Navy once again. Their supreme leader, Mr. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, warned of swift retaliation against any interference. IRGC and Iranian naval forces deployed across Persian Gulf and Sea of Oman. Now here, critical oil shipment routes is under heavy alert. Tensions rise over US attempt to intercept Iranian tankers. Oil routes standoff while global crude oil transport, that is 20%, passes through the Persian Gulf every single day. Iran uses ghost ships and secret routes to bypass the sanctions. In fact, both sides shadow each other, waiting for provocation right now. One misstep could trigger a major confrontation, affecting global oil market. Venezuela foils embassy plot. Their president, Mr. Nicolas Maduro, claims false flag plan to bomb US embassy over there. Plot allegedly orchestrated by right-wing extremist groups. Now here, embassy secured with Venezuelan forces. Investigation is ongoing. Claims highlight tensions between Caracas and Washington right now. United States-Venezuela tensions. Well, Trump administration reportedly cut diplomatic outreach with Venezuela. US military targeting drug-carrying vessels in the Caribbean. F-35s and submarines are deployed near Venezuelan waters, and Maduro frames action as part of US plan to destabilize the country. DOJ secret operation. United States DOJ and CIA given authorities for extrajudicial actions abroad. Legal framework allows the lethal operations without any traditional trials. Now here critics call it a dangerous precedent undermining the sovereignty. Maduro appeals to Pope to mediate and prevent the escalation. Geopolitical chessboard here. While Venezuela becomes a hot spot in US-Venezuelan power struggle, Maduro clings to power. Washington applies military and legal pressure. Caribbean tensions rise amid the strategic competition. Now here conflicts highlights broader game of influence, oil and survival. Red Sea security alert. Iliad remains on high alert as drones and missiles continue the threat. Local authorities expand public bomb shelter and civil defense measures as well. Israel balances retaliation with protecting the civilians. Red Sea region turns into strategic high alert zone. Middle East power dynamics. Trump, Netanyahu, Erdogan and regional powers maneuvered diplomatically. Hamas hostages, Iranian jets and US sanctions shape security calculus. Shift in alliances signals new era in the Middle East geopolitics. Peace remains fragile with global powers watching every single move. That's all for now. Stay tuned, stay sharp and come back on TimesXP same time tomorrow for the latest news that matters the most. I'm Trutiyatri. See you next time.